Hello, guten Abend. I hope you can hear me clearly. Uh, Please either raise a hand or put a message in the chat box if you can hear me. Can we begin the session? Can I speak? Am I audible? Or can you please type a message and tell me that I'm audible? Okay, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Bhavya, and thank you, Archie. So, guten Abend und ein herzliches Willkommen in die Live-Stunde. Das ist unsere Live-Stunde für German 1. This is our live hour for German 1. And I hope that you have been enjoying the course. I hope you have been able to learn a fair bit of German by now. I have, as we normally do, we get queries in advance from people. So I have a printout of people who have sent queries already in advance. So I think it will be fair if I go through them first. Maybe many of you might have the same queries, and your doubts also might get resolved as we go through these queries. So I'll go through these one by one in the order in which we have received them, and then at the end of it, if there are any further questions, any further doubts, then we can have people either raise their hands or I think that is better if you raise your hand and then ask your question. Otherwise, the chat box becomes too full, and then I can't follow things in the chat box all that well. So yeah, I'll just go through the questions. I'll read them aloud, and you can also hear them, and maybe they might be your questions as well. So the first question is from Nandana PB, and Nandana asks about not being able to attend some assignments before due date. Will I be able to attend the exam? So I think, Nandana, many people might have had this issue that they have not been able to submit some assignment. There's always time pressure, etc. But if you have 8 out of 10 assignments, then you fulfill the requirements for passing the course and getting a certificate. So you have to have completed 8 out of 12 assignments. So if you have done that, then I think you can go and write the exam, and you will be able to, if you do well in the exam, and depending on your assignment scores, you will be eligible to write the exam and pass the course. So I think many of you might have this question again. If you go back to the introduction page of the course, you will find that it says you have to have 8 out of 12, 8 best out of 12 assignments. And if you've done 8, then it will be okay. I hope that that answers your question, Nandana. Then the next question is from Geetika Purohit. No, but she doesn't have a question. Okay. Then Mihir Baldania has a question. How much average CGPA is required for German universities? In what that I didn't understand the question, Mihir. In average CGPA in what? Because see, first of all, German universities will look at your overall performance in whichever degree you have done. It also depends on at which level you want to go to a German university, undergrad or master level or doctoral level. There are many things that are, I think, if you have queries regarding what are the criteria that German universities have for admission, I think you should contact, I'm typing it here. You should contact, one second. This is going to everyone in the meeting. You should contact the German Academic Exchange Service. They are called der Deutsche, der UTSC, Deutsche Akademische Austausch, DIENST, or DAAD. Okay. DAAD. It means in English they are called the German Academic Exchange Service. You can easily Google them. They have a very, very big presence all over the world. They are the world's largest academic exchange service, in the sense that facilitates student and faculty mobility between Germany and the rest of the world. And they have a very important office in India, which is responsible for South Asia, in Delhi. And you can call them, you can call their office, you can go through their website. It's a comprehensive website which will give you a lot of orientation about what to expect in German universities and while studying in Germany. So as far as the German CGPA is concerned, well, for that you'll have to take the exam conducted by the Goethe Institute. I have already said this before, even in the introduction of these courses, that doing the NPTEL course, you can take it as a preparation to write an exam for international German certification. Okay, so the NPTEL certification itself is good enough for credits with Indian universities, since it is an AICTE approved course. But in German universities, you need an international certification, which as of now, the NPTEL is not yet internationally recognized. So you would have to take the exam conducted by an institute like the Goethe Institute, which also is there. You can just simply Google them. They also have a big presence in India. Goethe, INSTITUTE. They are the German institute responsible for German culture and language across the world outside Germany. And they have a long presence in India since more than 60 years. One second, please. Do you mind if I mute, please? Thank you. Yeah, they have a long presence in India, and they have institutes in Delhi, Mumbai, Pune, Chennai, Calcutta, Kolkata, and many major Indian cities. They have Goethe institutes, and they also conduct exams. Okay, so this is the reply to Mihir's questions. I hope, Mihir, that has clarified your doubts. Then Gaurav Raj is the next person who's asked a question about whether options will be provided in the exams. Yes. Also, I think there are a couple of questions regarding the pattern of the exam. Now, the pattern of the exam is mostly very similar to the pattern of the assignments. Okay, so there will be multiple choice questions. There will be true or false questions. Most of them will be like that. Most of them will be you have to make a choice from the answers that are given. Very few or a few of them will be short answer type, where you have to type a word into the box that is provided. Okay, or maybe a couple of words. I would really urge you to be careful while typing. We all know during while doing the assignments also. I hope you understand that there are quite a few thousands of people doing the course, so I can't manually correct all assignments. You have to program the answers into the system and then accordingly evaluate the assignments. So please be careful while typing, and please use the alternatives provided for the umlaut and the S set, or double S for the S set, and AE, OE or UE for the umlaut. So yeah, there will be 4 sections in the exam. There will be section on audio exercises. There will be section on reading comprehension, 1 section on grammar, and the final section is something that we have not done actually in the assignments, but it is very simple. I mean, there will be a very short text either for translation or I'll ask you to write a very short composition, very simple things like talk about your hobbies or what do you do on the weekend or something like that. Was machen Sie am Wochenende? Oder was sind Ihre Hobbys? Oder or something like that. Or reply to an email. Tell your teacher why you could not come to class or something like that. Very simple ones which you have done during the course. Or I'll give you a short passage which you can translate into English from German or the other way around, German to English. But it's all very at a very simple level. Where we have to remember this is a German 1 course. It is really the German 101. It's a basic level course. So you need not be very nervous about the pattern of the exam. 3 out of 4 sections are, you will find them very familiar. Audio section, reading comprehension and grammar are very familiar as far as you have been doing the assignments. You will find that you are used to the pattern. The only one, the last section, which is also only for 10 marks, that is the one where you have to write a short text or translate a short text and so on and so forth. So that's the only new thing in the exam, which was not there in the assignments. Okay, so I hope that answers everybody's questions about what could be the pattern of the exam. There is also one question later on which will come, which I might clarify right away. So there is no section-wise limit. I mean, it's not as if you have to finish the first section in 45 minutes and move on to the second section. No, all the questions are accessible at any time for you. All the questions, all the audios, all the data, that is the reading text for reading comprehension, everything is available to you at any point of time. So you can do it at your pace. Normally what happens is, we all know, I mean, you have also been doing the assignments, so you also would have noticed this by now, that the audio questions can take a bit of time. Okay, so I would just suggest to you to be a little aware while you're doing the audio questions of the time. And also, if you find that the audio is a little complicated, you're not exactly understanding right away, then I would suggest you go ahead and do the other sections and then later on come back and spend time on the audio. That is also possible. Okay. So just to reiterate, 3 sections, pretty much like what you have been doing in the assignments, and 1 section, write a short text or translate a short text, something like that. So that is something that is might be a little new, but it is very simple. It's not very difficult. Okay, then I'll carry on with the list of questions that we have before we go live. There is already but I will go into that a little later. Then the next question is from Shyam Sundar Singh, and Shyam Sundar Singh is asking about assignment 7. Yeah, if assignment 7, Mr. Singh, if you have missed assignment 7, I'm sorry, but it is not possible to reopen the assignment for any single student to submit, and especially because once the assignment is evaluated, as you would know, all the solutions are public. I mean, you can easily log in and see what the answers are. So that is not possible. But then, as I said, if you have missed only one assignment, it is still okay, because you still would be eligible to write the exam and eventually pass the course if you do well in the exam. So unfortunately, if you have missed it till now, then it is not possible to submit the assignment this late. Yeah, so that was Mr. Singh's question. Then Yash Yadav has written a very nice message in German, actually. And Yash, I mean, if you can write German like this, then you will surely pass, I think. Yash says, ich habe mir alle Videos angeschaut und alle Aufgaben erledigt. That means I have seen all videos and done all assignments. Aber keine Kursbuchübungen gemacht und einige der vorherigen Kapitel vergessen. Okay. But not having done exercises or tasks from the textbook and having forgotten a few chapters from before, earlier chapters. Also, was sollte ich vor der Prüfung tun, gute Noten zu bekommen, und was sollte man als Hobby tun, Deutsch zu lernen? Ja, das sind Fragen. So what to prepare for the exam? I mean, if you have the textbook, then you can prepare from the workbook in the text. There are many. If you go online, if you can go online to the Goethe Institute website, you can see I have already given you the name of Goethe Institutes. You can also go to Deutsche Welle. I don't know whether you know this German broadcasting service called Deutsche Welle. It is the German international broadcasting system and or service, not system, sorry, service. And Deutsche Welle now has actually German courses online. You can go and choose your level, and so you can go to Deutsche Welle. I'll type it here also. There are many sources. I think their website is www.dewe.de, I think, if I'm not mistaken, but you'll find it. Deutsche Welle. They have a separate portal or sub-portal for learning German. You have many sources online that will allow you to practice A1 level exams. So you can do that apart from preparing from our textbook if you have bought it, and also you can go through the exercises that we have done, assignments from 1 to 12. I think assignments from 1 to 12, if you do it well, revise them once properly, I think you're well covered, okay, for writing the exam. You can, but just so that you know that you can get the knowledge that you've gained through this course is not limited to the book and its vocabulary. I would suggest you go step outside of that, go to the Deutsche Welle website, go to the Goethe Institute website, try out their model tests, try out their sample tests, and see how much you know, how much you can do. Okay, I hope that answers, Yash, your question. And what you could do as a hobby to learn German, the sky is the limit. Okay, so the learning of German is being facilitated to these days so much by the state and by several universities and several institutions within Germany and Austria and Switzerland, that there is a real wealth of possibilities to learn German online. Okay. Then the next question is from Sagari, and is the exam having sectional timing or overall timing? What is the procedure of attending the So I think I've answered the question. There is no sectional timing as such. There is overall timing. I think 3 hours is the overall timing in which you have to answer all the questions in the 4 sections. I have just said, just be a little aware of the audio section, because audio can take a bit of time, and if that is the case, then you might be a little rushed in the other sections. So that is one of the things that I have talked about. And attending the exam, I suppose there will be a hall ticket which you have to carry to the center. You would get an intimation, unless you've not. I mean, I suppose you might have got it already by now, but if not, then you will definitely get details about the venue and the procedure from the NPTEL team, and they should be able to clarify the doubt about the procedure of attending the exam. So Sagari, I hope I have answered your questions. Then the next learner is Sanjushri, who is asking what topic should we concentrate more for the exam preparation. Now this is, I don't know. I mean, all topics. Uh, I have tried. I mean, I normally try to mm, see the thing is with the audio and the reading comprehension with these two parts. It is really there is no topic as such on which you can focus. It is your ability to understand your uh, vocabulary, uh, how good it is, and how well you can understand the text which is front of you, which is in front of you, and reading after reading it, or when you're listening to an audio, how many words you can identify and thus are able to understand the audio sufficiently to be able to answer the question. You don't have to understand everything. Okay, it is not possible. Sometimes even um, at the C1, C2 levels, also people might not understand the entire audio that they are listening to. But the most important, most critical information, if you can glean from whatever you hear, then the questions are framed in such a way that you should be able to answer the question without really having to understand each and every word in a given audio file. So, uh, one second. Um, so what you should, so there is not really, apart from, so apart from basically working on your vocabulary and practicing audio exercises, there is not much that I can say about which topics to focus on. I can only tell you about grammar because when I said the grammar section, then that time I have to literally look for what are the topics covered in the during the course and then distribute the marks among those topics. So basically, those you go through the entire 12 weeks and whatever grammar topics we have covered, those will be there. And I mean, how many can I do? I mean, I only have 100 marks to play with, and in one section I have only 30 marks to play with. So maximum I can set what 50 questions for 30 marks. Questions meaning just one blank, two blanks that way. So uh, the only thing I can say is grammar. Whatever topics we have covered, there will be there will be representational questions for almost each and every topic. There also I can't cover everything normally because 30 marks is too little to cover all the grammar that we have covered. But mostly, yes, modal verbs, cases, then so nominative, accusative, these cases, then pronouns, possessive pronouns, and so on and so forth. These are some things that are important for daily communication. Those things you can focus on. But generally, I'm saying that there are 12 to 14 topics of grammar covered in the 12 weeks. Just go through them, and that's it. You're done. And apart from that, you can try and work on your vocabulary and try to do practice some audio exercises. Okay. Then the next question is Sanjushri, I hope I have answered your question. Then Shalini Sangwan is will the exam be in line with the assignments? Each question will have subparts, and how will the marking be done? Okay. So as I have just said, I hope you've heard that Shalini Sangwan, that the exam is pretty much in line with the assignments, except for the fourth section, which is for 10 marks out of 100, which is to write a small text or to translate a small text into German or into English, or writing in German or translation from in either direction for 10 marks. That is the only kind of question or type of question that we have not done in the assignments. Otherwise, I mean, basically all the other questions, the remaining 90 questions or 90 marks questions that we're going to ask you, they are all of the type that somewhere or the other you will find them in the assignments. So if you've done the assignments, I think you will be very familiar with the pattern of the exam itself. Okay, then each question will have subparts. Uh, I mean, if you have something uh, like a reading comprehension, then for the reading comprehension, you'll have one text that is given to you, and then there will be 5 questions on that or 4 questions on that. So every time that question appears on the screen, on one part of the screen, the text will be constant. It will always be there in front of you. You don't have to go back and forth. Similarly, if there is one audio on which there are 3 or 4 questions based on that audio. The link to that audio and the audio itself will be available to you on the left side of your screen all the time. So you don't have to go back and forth. So you answer question number 1 and you say submit. Automatically the screen will change to question 2, but the audio link will remain. So you can go back and listen to the audio, or you can play it from that particular moment where it is stopped and all that. So that is fairly simple, and it is actually a little easier than I know, because I myself do the assignments many times before they go live. And I know that you have to really scroll up and down in the assignments to go back to the audio and then go back to the question and all that. That won't happen in the exam. In the exam, the screen is split. On the right side, you'll have the question, and left side, you'll have the data. So if the data is an audio file, then it will always be there on the left side of your screen. Okay. And if it is a text, again, that will always be there on the left side of your screen. So I hope that answers your question, Shalini Sangwan. Then Suprita Mukherjee is asking exam details, question types, and exam duration. Yeah, I hope I have answered Suprita Mukherjee your questions also. Exam duration is 3 hours, and that is so those are the questions I have here. Then Dr. Muthuraja has also registered, but there are no questions that he has. So thank you for sending in the questions. It is always good for me to prepare a little bit beforehand, so I know what kind of questions are there in people's minds who are preparing to write the exam in about 2 weeks' time, or less than 2 weeks' time now. And then I will also just go to the questions that are coming in the chat box. Okay. So let me just go right up. Where is it? Yeah. So after Guten Abend and everything, then we have Archie Narula asking, okay, if you have, I'll generally answer the questions. I mean, I think the minimum requirement for being eligible to write the exam is 8 assignments. Okay, so I would suggest, if 8 assignments are, one second, this has I think I could not send this message to everyone. The name of the German broadcasting service, which has a dedicated sub-portal for learning German, that's Deutsche Welle. And I think there this might be their, this is I think their website. DW, they are called DW. I'm not sure whether it's com or .de, but you will find them definitely. Okay. Then there is another question. Oh, when you hear what is being taught, you understand, but when you have to frame questions, sentences, you're unable to do so. That is a very standard difficulty. It is nothing to be disappointed about, because at this level, actually your active ability to formulate sentences in the language is going to be limited. Okay, we have to accept that. As long as you can understand what is being said, or not even everything, as long as you get the point about what is being said, that is really important. Okay, so even if you are not able to frame sentences, I mean, frame sentences meaning I suppose you can say, mein Name ist so and so, ich komme aus so and so, ich lerne Deutsch gern, or ich möchte in Deutschland studieren, or whatever it is. So I hope up to that level, if you can make sentences, then that is all right. I mean, nobody's going to in the exam also, I'm not going to ask you to make a 4-line long complex sentence or this thing. So with 3 clauses and 4 sub clauses and all that, that is not going to happen. Okay. So even in the written part of the exam, which is the last section, what I expect or is only fairly simple things about oneself. or about one's daily routine, etc., etc. Okay. So that is Bhavya's question. I hope I have answered it, Bhavya. Then there is why is it not scrolling? Yeah. 3175 and 4100 and 1025 assignment. I don't know what this is, but okay, we can suggest a list of topics we can prepare for the written part. I think I've spoken about that, Suprita Mukherjee, that it is basically very simple things about writing, let's say, an email in response to an invitation, or writing a small passage about your hobbies or your weekend, or introducing yourself, um, something like that. Those are very simple things that you can prepare. The translation, the text for translation also will be simple. Okay, then we have. So Niranjani is asking whether once we submit an answer, is it possible to go back and change any number of times? Yes, it is possible. Within the overall time frame, that is 3 hours, you can go to any question anytime, do it again. It is quite like the assignment. I think you might have noticed that till the deadline, the assignment also you can submit any number of times, and it is the last submission that will be counted. Okay, every time you do the assignment and click on submit, it overwrites everything, and your latest submission becomes your, or last one becomes your final submission. So the same thing here also, you can switch between sections and you can go to any question which you have left unanswered. In fact, I think there is also one indicator somewhere on the screen, if I remember right, when I did the exam myself, uh, which will tell you that this question in this section is not done. I think it will be marked orange or something like that. But please don't take this as Guru Mantra from me, because I've done the exam a long time back now just to check how it works. And but you are able to move between sections, go back to a question you might not have. You might make a mental note of it somewhere, or if you are given a rough paper, just note down on it which question you have not done, and you can go back to it anytime. Right. Then I hope that is answers the question. Then is there any negative marking for wrong answers? Unfortunately not. Okay. I mean, it's there is no negative marking. If the answer is wrong, the mark is 0. So most of the questions, as you would have seen in the assignments also, the fill in the blanks, the match the following, true or false, most of them are for either 1 mark or half a mark. But there is no negative marking. If the answer is wrong, you just lose that 1 mark or half a mark, and that's it. Okay. Then Drago Codes is paying compliment. Thank you very much. Yeah, some videos captions are not matching with the video. I have already replied to this on the forum. I think some people have already pointed out that even the what is it called? The entire transcript of the course also sometimes is not matching. And I went through a couple of videos, and I also found that there's a mismatch between, whichever PDF from the server is linked to that particular video, there's a mismatch. So now I'm in the middle of the semester right now, so I don't have the bandwidth to look at it. But before I'm really grateful to people for having pointed it out. But also I have to say, we haven't come across this earlier. This is the first time that I'm getting an issue raised by people, and it is true because I've checked it myself, that the videos and some of the captions of the videos and the transcripts are not matching. So now that you've brought it to our notice, the moment I'm through with this semester, I will go back to the original files, and I will see what exactly there is a problem with the linking, and we will fix that. Okay. So thank you for bringing that to our notice. In fact, now I can go and do some fixing once the semester is over here. Yes, Lavanya asked, can we listen to the audio any number of times? Yes, you can listen to the audio any number of times. I think the number of times for every audio is the limit is put at 1,000 times. So I don't think if you listen to an audio 1,000 times, you spend 3 hours there itself. Okay. So practically you can listen to an audio any number of times. You can go back to any question any number of times. That much flexibility is there. If you are given only 5 assignments, will you be able to write the exam? I would suggest that you please write to the NPTEL team. There is support at nptel.iitm.ac.in. Please write to them and please say that this is the situation. Okay, because eventually these things are totally automated. I mean, your record with NPTEL will show how many assignments you have completed, and it is already programmed in the system, the eligibility for the exam and the certificate. So please check with, I have no control over it. Please check with the NPTEL support team and tell them that this is the situation, what is going to happen. Okay. That was Archie's question. I hope I've answered that. Yes, you can join German 2. In fact, I would be very happy if you like German 1, please join German 2. Attend 4 assignments. Nandana, yeah, I think I've answered this, that 8 assignments I think is the requirement, but please write to the NPTEL support team and check with them. Limit for hearing audios, no limit. Yeah, will it be considered wrong answer if the D thus there is wrong during the exam? Yes, of course. If I've asked you to give the correct gender of a particular noun, and if the noun is, let's say, their computer, and you say D computer, you lose the mark. Okay. So yes, that is their D thus is absolutely important. That's why I said what to what to prepare. Work on your vocabulary. Work on the vocabulary. That is one definite advantage it will give you. So do that. Huh? 1 second. I also need to check the YouTube audience's questions. Then in terms of verbs, the ones covered in the course, yes, definitely. In terms of verbs, the ones covered in the course are definitely enough for the exam. Yeah, right. Then I will just. It is also live on YouTube, so I need to check how to go to the YouTube. Okay. Participant to mute this. Yeah. Okay. I think we've done that. Guten Abend, everyone. Okay. Vivek Shinde is asking, do we have the same course in Jan to April next year? Yes, Vivek Shinde, the same course will be offered from January to April 2024 also. And if you have missed it this time, you're most welcome to join it during that run of the course. Guten Tag, and okay, some compliments also. Thank you. Havi and Haru vlogs, whatever it is. Good luck to you. Okay, there are no questions here in the YouTube chat. Yeah, if there are any further questions, you can please go ahead and ask. You can either type, or now I think you can even unmute yourself and ask the question. Okay, Anish Ghanekar has asked any sources for giving the mock exam before the actual one. Yeah, I have spoken about this. If you go through the chat box, Anish, you will find that I said you can go to the Goethe Institute website. You can go to the Deutsche Welle website. There will be a lot of mock tests for German A1 level. You can try any of them, and you will find some of the names of those institutions and websites in the chat earlier I've given. When will I get hall ticket? That you have to ask the um, support team of the NPTEL when you will get the hall tickets. So that is not something for me to. Okay.
Good evening, sir.
Yes.
Sir, myself Yash Yadav, and my question is like there are a lot of nouns, and I just get confused with their these das. So, how to learn them like other than rote memorization? Like, is there any way to find out like if the ending of word is like this? So, use there or das or the.
See, Das is not very this thing. I mean, generally, if there is, we have done that actually in the course also a couple of times. We mentioned that nouns which end in er, for example, uh, will most likely be masculine. Then there are very certain there are ways of making nouns by adding a suffix in German. For example, if you remember, the word for healthy is gesund, and the word for good health is Gesundheit. Okay, so HEIT, height, the suffix we add to gesund, and we get the word Gesundheit. Or wohnen is to live, and Wohnung, UNG, is an apartment, is a flat, Wohnung, where you live. So UNG, HEIT, KEIT, all these nouns which we get by adding these small uh, parts at the end of other words, they are all feminine, 100%. Okay. So UNG, KEIT, HEIT, even most of them ending in UR, such as die Natur, die Kultur, die Temperatur, and so on and so forth. All these UR endings will be usually feminine. Then the KEIT, HEIT, UNG endings definitely feminine, 100%. ER ending mostly masculine, but I would not I would not trust 100% on that. So there are these some uh, clues for guessing the gender right or getting the gender right. But I think what right in the beginning of the course, what we have said, and what is there in every textbook of German, whichever textbook right from the 1960s, if you open any textbook, they will tell you for the foundational vocabulary, learn the article and the plural by heart. Okay. So there are some 12 or 14 different ways to make plurals in German. Now, there's no point in having that like a formula because you don't know which to apply where also. So at this level, at the A1 level, we are aiming for an active vocabulary of, let's say, 300 to 500 words. Within that, whatever number of nouns you know, those nouns, I think it's important to have to know them by heart. Okay. So I hope, I'm sorry I could not answer your query in any different manner, but that is just the way it is. In the beginning, we have to learn things by heart. Is that okay? Is it Yash? Ask the question.
Yes, sir.
Sorry. I don't know. I've done something whereby I. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anybody else has a question? Please go ahead. Please. Yeah. Please feel free to unmute yourselves and ask. Is there anything in the blog? I mean, the chat box is no. Okay, Rutuja is asking about numbers. I tend to get numbers wrong in German. Can you give some suggestion? Practice. Just take a random number. I mean, again, numbers. Usually, we don't need numbers beyond 1,000, or we don't need numbers beyond having to tell the date and things like that. So uh, I would simply say just practice any random number, because we have to get used to the fact that the tens and the units places are exchanged in German. So it is not 21 but 1 and 20, 21. That is something we have to get used to, but otherwise there is not much one. And we have to get used to spellings. I mean, you would have seen that for the numbers that are derived from 6 and 7, such as 16 and 17 and 60 and 70, it is 60 and 70 and 16 and 17. But when they are in the units place later on, it is again 6 und 20, full word 6 und 20 and full word 7 und 20. 700, 600, 6,000, 7,000. So there are things that we need to get used to. There is no particular method that at least I'm aware of to learn numbers as such. But the more you practice, the more you'll remember. That's what I can say. Explain brief on usage of mir, dir, mich, dich, ihnen at which appropriate places. Okay. Okay, then mir, dir, mich, dich. Now this is I have to take a dative accusative class again then. Okay. See, the thing is, mir, dir, mich, dich are forms of ish and do. Okay. Ish and do, if you simply look at English, they are words for I and you. And if I'm doing something, if I'm the subject of a sentence doing something, then I use the form I. I is a subject form for the first person, the person who is speaking. That first person being a subject, karta in Hindi grammar, then the form to use is I. But if you are listening to me, or if you are seeing me, then you are the subject who is seeing, and I am the object actually, the one who's speaking. I'm the object that you are seeing. So the I has changed to me. Okay. So me is the object form of I. You in English is really a universal word. I mean, you, whether it is subject, object, it never changes. Okay. So I hear you and you hear me. Whether you are the subject I hear, or you're the object I hear, or you're the subject who hears me, it's just you. But it's not the case in German. The do will change to dich. Okay. So ich höre, I'm hearing you. Then the do and the you are the object that I'm hearing. Okay, actually, grammatically speaking. So the do will be used as dich and not as do. But if you are hearing, then du hörst mich. Then I am the object that you are hearing. Then the I, the speaker, will be used in the object form, which is mich. Okay, that is as simple an explanation of ish and mish, or mish and dish, that I can give. They are the first object forms of ish, or mish is the object form of ish, and dish of do. Every other pronoun also has its own object forms, which we have tables in our notes and our lessons. It's not possible for me to go through that here, but I hope you understand what I've said. Okay, then mere and dear. This is the indirect object form. Now there is one further level of object which we have in all languages, several levels of objects. English also. I mean, English, the difference is not apparent, because I hear you, your direct object, or I hear My friend is talking to me. I hear him. Okay, I hear him, direct object. And um, he needs some money. I give him 100 rupees. Now here the direct object is I'm giving what? 100 rupees. Him, the person to whom I'm giving the 100 rupees, has become the indirect or the dative object. But the him hasn't changed. In English, the him persists everywhere. You can't make out the difference. You can't, unless you know the language, unless you know the grammatical differentiation between accusative and dative. If you just see the word him, you can't make out whether it is accusative or dative. But in German, since it is more specific, you have a differentiation between accusative forms and dative forms for most of them. Okay, so which means that uh, ich höre dich, ich höre dich. You are the direct object. I'll use dish form. But if I give you a glass of water, then the glass of water is direct object and you are the indirect object. In this situation, I have to use the dir form. Ich höre dich, ich gebe dir ein Glas Wasser. Then you become the dative or the indirect object, and then I have to use the dir form. So to come back to dir and mir are the indirect or dative object forms of ish and do. That is what it is. So we have to understand mish, dish, dir, and mir. We have to go back to the lesson in which we have done the accusative and the dative, those cases, direct and indirect objects. And then once we understand what that differentiation is, then we need to use the correct forms for dative, dir and mir, for accusative, dish and mish. I hope, I mean, this is really a short time, too short a time to explain that more than here, more than this. So I hope some of it is clear, at least, Niranjani, to you. Then can you suggest some books or magazines to improve vocabulary as well as in spoken? Spoken is a bit of a problem in this course. I admit that it is something that we have tried a few things earlier, but then we need also dedicated staff or teaching assistants for that, because we can actually try and have one live session every week if we have enough people to help us out, where people who are interested in learning how to speak, and we have done this earlier and it was moderately successful, then we can have, let's say, in 1 hour we can have 20 slots, so which means 3 minutes each, and people can just prepare a few things that they want to say, or we can have 12 slots, 5 minutes each, and those, it'll be first come first served basis. But again, I'm saying that this is something that we need to figure out. I'm sorry that that there is I mean, I need more people to be available every week, every day, in order to be able to offer something like this. And we have tried it, which we could try to, again, for spoken German in this, through this course. Magazines and books, etc. I mean, see, as I said, German language teaching is being very, very massively supported and facilitated by the German government, by many institutions across Germany and Austria and Switzerland. You can simply go online, and there are several websites that will give you wonderful suggestions and wonderful resources for learning German. Okay, so that is Swarnishri's question. I hope I have answered that. Yeah, if anybody else has a question, we can. There is one one question on YouTube, which is to solve English literature course. So, Pratap Lalwani, if you can hear me, I am not sure what I can say about the English literature course, but if you have any doubt about your eligibility to write the exam, please write to at nptel.iitm.ac.in. They will definitely respond and resolve your doubts. So please write to them. Yeah, otherwise, if anybody else has construction that we have already seen. Okay, an example is here from Lavanya. I always have breakfast at the restaurant at 8 o'clock with my parents. Oh, it's too complex sentence. So have breakfast. I mean, have breakfast in German is Frühstücken. Frühstücken, the German language has actually a verb for having breakfast. So we cannot breakfast in English, as far as I know, but we can breakfast in German. Okay, so you can Frühstücken. So you, instead of having breakfast, you can say Frühstücken. You could use the verb Frühstücken. Ich frühstücke. The moment you say ich, the second word, the second meaningful unit of a sentence has to be the verb. So ich frühstücke immer in dem Restaurant or 8 Uhr in dem Restaurant mit meinen Eltern. And that should not be a problem. If you have a sentence like this, I'm going to simply put the sentence into German. Ich frühstücke immer 8 Uhr in, you can say in dem or in diesem, in this restaurant mit meinen Eltern. Sorry, this, yeah. I suppose you should be able to write a sentence of this complexity, because you should be able to say immer for always, 8 Uhr for at 8 o'clock. In this restaurant, I am not generally moving around when I'm having breakfast, so I'm sitting in one place. So in this restaurant will be dative in this restaurant. And again, mit is a dative preposition. So mit meinen Eltern. It should be possible to write a sentence of this kind, although in the exam, from the exam point of view, I'm only expecting that you can understand a sentence of this kind. Okay, I'm not expecting that you write a sentence of this slightly simpler than this. What you'll have to write will be slightly simpler than this. Okay. Right. We have another 5 minutes to go. You can either ask questions in the chat box, or you can unmute feel free to unmute yourself and ask a question. Yeah. So Swarnashri, you can take the course next year, no problem at all. Even if you're missing it because you can't take the exam this year, you can take it again. January, it's being offered, so you can take it again in January. And yeah, if you can go back to the sentence that I have translated, which was asked by, I think, Lavanya. Yeah. So here also, one thing I forgot to mention. I mean, ich frühstücke immer. Then there are two indicators, right? We have the indicator of time, 8 Uhr, indicator of space or place in diesem restaurant. And if you remember, there is the convention generally in the German language is, if you have these two indicators in a sentence, then it is always better to put time before place, okay, or time before space. So that's why 8 Uhr in diesem restaurant. It can, I mean, while speaking, especially if you're speaking in German, and if you're speaking spontaneously, this order can get interchanged. There's nothing, I'm sorry, there's nothing seriously wrong about it. But the better convention, sentence construction convention would be to put, since we are, we are very consciously learning the language at this stage, we are very consciously learning the language. There is certain amount of deliberate attempt on our part to construct sentences. Okay, we are still many times thinking in English or in any other language that we think in, our own mother tongue, and then putting those thoughts into German and trying to construct those thoughts in German sentences. So at this stage, it is better to know, since we're doing it consciously, that to make it a habit to put time before space in a sentence. Then once it gets internalized, then automatically the better option you'll be able to use when it becomes when you become a little more fluent and the German language comes spontaneously to you. Then it has already become a habit. That's why I'm saying in these very simple sentences also, if you have indicators of time and place, just make that one adjustment of putting time before place.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, who's?
Sir, this is Niranjani.
Yeah.
Sir, one small thing. Actually, when we were doing assignments, sometimes we found words which were not taught in the classes. So we had to go to Google and search for the meaning. Will we get such kind of things in the final exam where we were not taught about certain words before?
Okay. So one of the things, the assignment is there might have been words which are not there in the lectures or in the transcripts of the lectures. I think, see, because as you would have seen by now, you know that the lectures, I have not prepared a course where I have spoken to the camera only. It is a live interaction in class, and live interaction in class over an entire semester has been captured. And then that we have tried to edit as well as possible. So it also gives the learner, the online learner, the feel that there is an interaction going on here. It is not just that one lecturer is talking to the camera. So that for that, I'm trying to answer the question here. What that does it, then we have to also edit, because sometimes there are interventions, sometimes there are disturbances, sometimes I might say something which is not appropriate or whatever it is. I have to cut it, So all those things happen. So which means that there is certain, and I know that in a couple of places, the editing we have done, which has affected the overall quality of that particular lecture. Okay, so that I know, and I'm going to try and also put additional material along with such lectures where there is this slightly rough editing has happened or had to be done because we couldn't do it otherwise. So that is in response to what you find in the assignments. But as far as the exam is concerned, you can rest assured fairly. I mean, now you're really putting me in a tight situation, because now I have to remember what all I've asked in the exam, which is not possible at this time. There's just 1 minute left. But anyway, the point is, I don't think I've gone beyond the scope of what we have done in the lectures and the assignments in the vocabulary that I've used in the exam. Okay, so I don't think you will have difficulty in identifying critical words, or you won't have a difficulty in understanding critical words in the comprehension texts or in the grammar exercises and so on and so forth. So that is something that I have consciously tried to do. I mean, now if you find one word, don't later on I can say I'm very sorry, but I've tried not to go beyond what is there in the lectures and what is there in the assignments, and that is why even the pattern of most of the questions in the exam is as per the pattern of the assignments.
Thank you very much, sir.
Welcome.
Hello, sir.
Yes. Nimilika, who's?
Yeah, I am Nimilika.
Yeah, hi.
Welcome, sir. Where will be the center of the exam?
Where you have to check that with the support team, because I'm just going to write the support team's email address, support at NPTEL. Yeah, please write to support, because see, the entire administration of the exam and the centers and so that the instructors of the courses actually are not at all connected with that. So I mean, it will come to me only once the exam is done and the evaluation is going on. Only I will be able to see what has happened. So I think they might not have sent the hall ticket as yet for people.
Yeah, it is yet to be released. I saw the email.
So if that is the case, then just wait for a few more days. It is, I think, exam date is 24th, 25th, which is the date? I'm not
29th.
29th. Okay, so there is still a couple of weeks time. So once the hall ticket will mention the venue and everything. So I think there should not be a problem. It might get a delayed, but you will get it at least a week in advance, is what I gather.
Yeah. The exam date is fixed or not?
Exam date is there in the website, no? Exam date is fixed.
It is fixed.
Yeah, I have to also open the course page to check what exactly is the exam date, but it will be the weekend, no? So what is now the 14th is the weekend. So 14th, 15th is Saturday, Sunday. That means 14 plus 7, 21, 22, and then there'll be 28, 29. Probably 28, 29 might be the weekend on which there will be the exam will be there.
Yeah, I saw that it is on the 29th.
Yeah, so that is this. Okay. Yeah, it is on 29th. Lavanya has confirmed. So thank you for that. Yeah, are there any further questions? We are already over time. So if there is any question, please go ahead and ask. Otherwise, I'm happy to thank all of you for being part of this course and for being part of this interaction also. That is very important to get a feedback about what difficulties people are facing, what kind of doubts are rising in people's minds about the learning. So yeah, shall we then wind up the session today? So vielen Dank für Ihre Teilnahme. Die Teilnahme is participation. I'm writing the word in the chat box. The TEIL, Teil is part and Name is taking part. So die Teilnahme is participation. Vielen Dank für Ihre Teilnahme und für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit. Die Aufmerksamkeit. Aufmerksam is attentive. Aufmerksamkeit is attention. And as I said, who asked the question about genders? Yash, I think. Aufmerksamkeit. This is kite. Okay, I have made a noun using KEIT. It is definitely feminine. Okay, die Aufmerksamkeit. Okay, so vielen Dank für Ihre Teilnahme und für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit. Und hoffentlich sehen wir uns in German 2 im Januar. Okay. Und alles Gute für die Prüfung. Alles Gute für die Prüfung. Die Prüfung, the exam. I'm writing this also. UNG ending. Always feminine. Die Prüfung. The exam. Okay. Alles Gute für die Prüfung. Okay.
Yeah. Da stands for neuter gender. No, I saw it on Google.
Yes.
Das means genes is masculine gender or a neuter gender? Genes. If,
Genes is
they have asked in one of the assignment.
D genes. D genes.
D genes means it is feminine.
Feminine. Yes.
Hmm.
Okay.
I am
So-
practicing on Duolingo also.
Yeah, that also is
I am practicing German on Duolingo also, and I am very few mistakes I make.
okay. No, Duolingo is also a good platform to practice on. That also you can do.
Yeah.
Okay.
And will there be any essay type questions or only objective?
Essay type, I mean, I can't even call it essay type. It is a small composition of 4 or 5 lines I'll ask you to write maximum. You don't have to write an essay or anything. It's just a small text about yourself.
Composition means you will ask us to translate that.
Yeah, there could be a translation. There could be also write let's say a short note about yourself in German.
Yeah. So I need to look
So
for that.
yeah, you need to be able to introduce yourself in German. You need to be able to write a few sentences about your hobbies or things like that. So very simple things. Let's say I will not ask you what is the political situation in Germany. That kind of a thing is not there.
Like mein Name ist Nimilika Puppala. Ich heiße Nimilika Puppala. Mein hobby is music.
Yeah, okay. I mean, so those kind of simple sentences you'll have to formulate. Is that okay?
Ich reisen gern.
Yeah, but ich reise gern.
Ich reise gern.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we have come to the end of today's session. I'm once again grateful for your participation. Ich danke Ihnen herzlich für die Teilnahme und für die Aufmerksamkeit und alles Gute für die Prüfung. Okay. Auf Wiedersehen.
Danke, sir.
Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen. Tschüss.
Auf Wiedersehen. Tschüss.
Auf Wiedersehen, sir.
Wiedersehen.